Now, understanding this right here is the greatest tactic that you can use to develop your performance as a footballer and as a coach. This applies to you as a coach as well. Now, I strongly recommend that you watch this video again and again and again. In moments where you're feeling a bit down, come back to this video. Send this to a player who you think needs to watch this video. The first point to bulletproof confidence in football is you are not defined by one game. Forget 1 game, 2 games, 3 games, 4 games. Who cares? You've done so much work behind the scenes to get to where you are right now. So how on earth does 1 game define you? We all know how chaotic football is, how many uncontrollables there are within the game of football. So for example, conceding a last minute free kick, how does that define you as a footballer or as a football coach? It just doesn't make sense. The process is what defines you. Putting in the work day after day after day, week after week, late night after late night, early morning after early morning. That's what defines you as a footballer. If you're putting in the work and if you can genuinely look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I've given my all and I played badly. So what? I focus on the next action, the next game. That's what defines you as a footballer and as a football coach. It's your persistence to keep going game after game, training session after training session. 1 bad training session, so what? Just get on with it. Focus on the next action. 1 bad shot, so what? Focus on the next action. 1 bad dribble. Whatever it is, it does not define you as a footballer. So that means when you step out onto the pitch, it should liberate you. There should be no more fear. Because if 1 game does not define you as a footballer, then every time you step out on the pitch, you should just play freely, as if you don't care. It's almost like you're stepping out onto the pitch, like you don't really care. You're just giving your all, and that's it. And I'm pretty sure, right, when you give your all, you end up playing well. It's very rare that you give your 1000% effort and for some reason it doesn't work, especially if you've given 1000% effort before the game, weeks before the game, days before the game, training well, doing the game analysis, focusing on individual improvement day after day after day. So with all of that and your 1000% effort on match day, how can you not play well? It happens, of course, it does happen, but it's very rare. And when it does happen, on the rare occasion, once again, it should not define you as a footballer, which means you have bulletproof confidence, which means you are able to play like the footballer you envision every single night. I know that we all sit there and say, you know what, I know I can play like this. So what's stopping you? What's stopping you? This is the first step. Knowing that 1 game does not define you. And if that game does not define you, that's it. That's it. You are now liberated. You can now play freely. And as we just discussed, the next point is the next action. It is all about the next action. That's it. Football doesn't stop for anyone. It does not care about your misses. It does not care about your misplaced passes. It does not care about your mistimed tackle. And now you're on a yellow card. And now the coach is shouting at you. And now you've put your team under pressure. It does not care about any of that. All football cares about is just keeping the game flowing. It's just about getting from minute 0 to minute 90, and that's it. So what do you have to do? You have to go in accordance with that. I can't stress this enough. You have to flow just like the game of football. Whatever happens has happened. Guess what? The time is still ticking. The time does not stop for you to say, oh, I missed, now I'm nervous. No. The time keeps going. Football is a ruthless sport. It just keeps going. So guess what you need to do? You need to be ruthless with yourself and you need to keep going. If you are able to synchronize yourself with football and connect with football, how can you not have bulletproof confidence? It just doesn't make sense. So it is all about the next action. Whatever happens, think done next, done next, done next. Where's my sprint back into my position? Where's my next action? How can I focus on the next action? Because once again, 1 action does not define you as a footballer. So you making 1 bad pass, does that take away hours and hours and hours of graft off the pitch, behind the scenes when no one was watching? Does that really take away all your efforts? Does that make you a bad footballer? No. So it is all about the next action. You make 1, 2, 3 misplaced passes, just focus on the next action because you can't go back in the past to correct it. And if you try to go back during the game, well, you're stuck. It just doesn't make sense. You have to focus now. Of course, you're going to think, oh, I made a bad pass. Wait, did my training not... You might start overthinking, but who's going to stop you? It's you. You need to stop yourself from overthinking. There has to be a switch button. So you catch yourself thinking, oh, I made a misplaced pass. Maybe my training wasn't as good as I... No. I focus on the next action, and that is it. Stop that voice in your head that is telling you, oh, maybe you weren't good enough. Maybe I was right. That bad voice telling you, maybe I was right. No, you shut it down by focusing on the next action. Because we all have that voice. You can never silence that voice. That voice will always be there. What you can do is determine its volume. Do you want to increase the volume and let it suffocate you and let it overwhelm you and let it affect your next action? Or do you say, you know what? I'm going to put it to volume 0, 0.1. I can hear it, but I'm going to shut it down by focusing on the next action, by realizing who I am, by realizing that no action will define me as a footballer, that I've done all the work behind the scenes. Kobe Bryant said it himself. It's the process, not the destination. Sorry, it's the journey, not the destination. It's the hard graft. It's the traveling. It's taking 3 trains to training, then taking 3 trains back on a cold January morning. It's all of that put into one, and that defines you as a footballer, as a dedicated, committed, talented footballer. And I repeat myself once again, if you have all of that and 1000% effort on match day, focusing on the next action, realizing that you are not defined by one game, you reach bulletproof confidence. And now the next point is, you are the reason you play well or not so well. It is you. Taking accountability, taking ownership, taking responsibility for your own performance, it liberates you. We said that in point number 1. When you are not defined by one game, it liberates you. When you realize that it's all about the next action, that liberates you as well. It is down to you whether you play well or not so well. So that means it's in your control. And if it's in your control, what's stopping you? What's stopping you? It is you. The only reason you cannot play well game after game after game with consistency, it's you. It's your fault. It's your fault because you have not realized, for whatever reason, which is okay, you just haven't realized that you were not defined by one game. And football is all about the next action. That's all. So now that you've realized that, you can say, okay, how great is it that it is all under my control? My performance is down to me. It's not down to the pitch. It's not down to the journey. It's not down to the referee. It's not down to the opposition. It's not down to who we're playing against. It's not down to who's watching, how many people are watching. It's not down to my teammates. It's actually all down to me because I'm in control of my feet. I'm in control of my body and I am in control of my mind. As we said, you can turn the volume up and down of what you want to think. Do you want to think positive thoughts? By putting the volume up. I'm much better than this. Ignore that mistake. Who cares? Focus on the next one. On the next action. Okay, I've received the ball. Bang. Oh, what a pass. Well done. See, that's all your training that you've done. Positive thoughts or negative thoughts. Which one is it? You should be obsessed with increasing the volume of all those positive thoughts. Uplifting yourself. Giving yourself the confidence. Because guess what? You deserve it. You've done all the work off the pitch. You've done all the work behind the scenes. So now it's showtime. Give yourself the courage. Give yourself the freedom. Because it's all under your control. You are the reason you play well or not so well. It's down to you. And when you don't play well, it's okay. After the game, why haven't I played well? Why? Oh, it's because I was too obsessed with my thoughts. Okay, so in the next game, I'm going to be more conscious of those negative thoughts and reduce the volume because my thoughts are under my control. Because one game does not define me and football is about the next action. And if I do all of that, how can I not have bulletproof confidence? It's all linked. It's all together. People, football is such a beautiful sport because everything comes down to one. Everything is connected and you have to find the dots. You have to connect the dots. It's down to you and that should give you enough courage. That should really uplift you because it's down to you. It's down to you. How good is that? How good is it that you can step off the pitch and say, I played well because of me. And also, I didn't play well because of me, which is good because now I'm going to self-reflect, take some time to self-reflect, and then guess what? I'm going to focus on the next action, which is recovery, training what I should have done better in that game. And guess what? In the next game, implementation, execution. And that process just keeps going and it just keeps going. And once you're obsessed with the process, once you're obsessed with self-development, how can you stop? How can you feel sorry for yourself? How can you say, oh, maybe I'm not good enough? No, because you're so obsessed with development, with improvement, you end up having bulletproof confidence. It's you versus you, and it's down to you. I've said it a lot, but it's actually down to you whether you want to listen to the positive, uplifting thoughts, or you want to increase the power of those negative thoughts and let it overwhelm your performances. Those games that you've worked hard for, to be ready for. Why are you going to let your negative thoughts suddenly impact your performance, influence your performance in a negative way? Why? You deserve more than that. You owe it to yourself to give yourself the confidence, to give yourself the courage and execute what you've done behind the scenes. Show off to the world almost. Show off how much you've put in behind the scenes and just see what happens. As I said, in the first point, it's almost like you don't care. You've done the work and now you're like, you know what? Showtime. Let's see what happens. Because you realize that no game can define you. Even if you've had your best game, what's stopping you from having an even better game? And I'm pretty sure even in your best games, there are things that you could have improved. So even that game doesn't define you as a footballer. It's just a never-ending cycle. And the quicker you realize that, the more power you have over your own development, the quicker you can have bulletproof confidence. And the final point, and potentially the most important point, know, don't believe. What on earth does that mean? You need to know that you're destined for greatness. You need to know that there is a footballer within that is waiting to be unleashed, that is waiting for the world to see. The footballer that you envision every single day, every single night, that footballer, you need to know that you can perform like that on the pitch. If you believe it, it gives you a little room for doubt. If you believe something, there could be a part of you that says, you know what, maybe I'm not. But when you just know it, I know I'm destined for greatness. I know how good I am. I know that I can perform like this. That's when you tap in to bulletproof confidence. And that's when anything can happen on the pitch and you'll focus on the next action, because the next action could be your moment of greatness. You need to know that all those hours you've put in behind the scenes actually has made you a better footballer. You shouldn't doubt your effort. You shouldn't doubt your process behind the scenes. When no one's watching, what have you done? You shouldn't doubt that work. You shouldn't doubt that effort. You need to know that all of that has contributed to you becoming a better footballer. And now, as I've said before, it is showtime. But if you believe that you're a good footballer, if you believe, yeah, I believe I am. Yeah, I think I'm a good footballer. Yeah, I think my hard work has improved me. Yeah, I think my hard work will help me on the pitch. That gives your subconscious room for doubt. And then when you make one little mistake during the game, that's when your doubt really kicks in. And then it's a conflict between doubt and your self-belief during the game, which should not happen. But if you know, if you have the knowledge, if it's a fact that your hard work has contributed to you becoming a better footballer, it's just showtime. So whatever happens in the game, you know that it's all part of the show. It's all part of your development as a footballer. So therefore, nothing can stop you. Nothing can stop you, and that makes you have bulletproof confidence. But that doesn't mean you become arrogant by saying, oh, I know I'm destined for greatness. No. You need to earn the right to know you are destined for greatness, that you are a true footballer. You can perform the way you envision every single day. And how do you do that? You earn the right. What does that mean? You put in the hours, you put in the graft, you put in the work behind the scenes to get to a stage where you can look yourself in the mirror and say, you know what? I know I've done everything I can, and now it's showtime, and now it's game day. And whatever happens on the pitch will happen, and I can only benefit from it. I can only improve from it. So therefore, I have nothing to lose. And that should give me total power, total freedom to express myself and play the way I know I can play. And that gives me bulletproof confidence. That's the mentality you should be approaching every single training session, every single match. And that's when you tap in to the true footballer that is within you. Or, once again, the true footballing coach that is within you if you're a coach watching this video. Now, I strongly recommend that you watch this video again and again and again. In moments where you're feeling a bit down, come back to this video. Send this to a player who you think needs to watch this video, because everything here is not really taught. So, who's going to tell you? I'm doing my best to inform you, to show you the way. It's down to you to take in this information and to really soak it in and execute in your next training session, in your next match. I really hope that you've gained a lot of benefits from this video. As I said, watch it again and again and again. Ask me questions and I'll try to reply to your thoughts and questions as much as I can. But until next time, as always, peace.